All right, so let me first recall a few facts from lecture 3. So in lecture 3, we proved the Ishebek vanishing theorem. This theorem was for vanishing of X tie Mn, and the ring is a Noetherian local ring. M and N are finitely generated R modules. Then the X tie Mn is 0 for I less than depth of N minus dimension of M. And we calculated the dimension of M mod xm is X is M regular. This is dimension of M minus 1. And depth of M mod xm is also depth of M minus 1. And we proved this upper bound using Ishebek theorem that the depth of M is bounded above by dimension of R mod P for every associated prime. And when this upper bound is achieved, and then M is called Cohen-Macaulay, and that means depth of M is dimension of M, then M is called Cohen-Macaulay. And so that means all associated primes of the module have equal dimension. Depth of M is dimension of R mod P, and this should be dimension of M, not dimension of R, for every associated prime. And if there's an important formula we proved using induction on the grade, if I is a ideal in the maximal ideal of a local ring, and we have a Cohen-Macaulay module, then the grade can be computed using dimensions. Okay, so grade of IM is length of maximal M regular sequence in the ideal, and that is dimension of M minus dimension of M mod IM. Okay, so computing dimensions of M and M mod IM gives us the length of maximal M regular sequence if M is Cohen-Macaulay. Yeah. So this is what we did in lecture 3, and we will be using all these facts to prove basic properties of Cohen-Macaulay modules and Cohen-Macaulay rings. And that's the plan for today. So this is what I want to do today. So if X is a non-zero divisor on a module and the ring is Noetherian, so the base ring will always be a Noetherian ring, and we consider non-zero finitely generated R modules. This is a standing hypothesis. Sometimes the ring is local, sometimes it is not local. Okay, but in all the results, the base ring is Noetherian, and the module is non-zero and finitely generated. Okay, and pick a M regular element. Suppose there is a M regular element, then M, we can test Cohen-Macaulay property by going mod X. So look at M mod XM, and this is a module over R mod X. And very often R mod X is a lower dimensional ring, and testing Cohen-Macaulay property over rings of lower dimension may be easier. So this theorem says that if M is Cohen-Macaulay, then M mod XM is also Cohen-Macaulay. Okay, and converse need not be true, but if the ring is local, then the converse is also true. Okay, then we will prove using these facts. We will prove Cohen's theorem, which gives us a big class of Cohen-Macaulay rings. And Cohen's theorem says that if you take a regular local ring, regular local ring is one where the minimum number of generators of maximal ideal is equal to dimension of R. By Krull's theorem, dimension of R is less equal to minimum number of generators of maximal ideal of a local ring. When this is achieved, mu M is dimension of R, then it is called a regular local ring. There will be 6 lectures on regular local rings by Professor Indranath, and you will see more properties. But I will prove today that regular local rings are Cohen-Macaulay integral domains. So this gives a big class of Cohen-Macaulay rings, because local rings which are associated with smooth points of algebraic varieties, they are regular local rings. So they are in abundance. Okay. We will then prove the uh, local property of Cohen-Macaulay property, that if you have a Cohen-Macaulay module, Cohen-Macaulay R module, and so the ring is local in these results, and P is in the support, so that MP is not zero. Then MP is Cohen-Macaulay RP module. So Cohen-Macaulay property is a local property. Okay, because of this result, that when localized at prime ideals in the support, then the Cohen-Macaulay property is passed on to localization. And not only that, we can estimate the depth of MP, because MP is Cohen-Macaulay, it is dimension of MP, and this is given by the grade of PM. So maximal regular sequence inside P has length as much as the depth of MP, and which is dimension of MP. Okay. Then if R is just Cohen-Macaulay, not necessarily local, then grade of I, which is the length of maximal R regular sequence inside the ideal, then that is equal to height of I. Okay. Grade of I is less equal to height of I in general if the ring is not Cohen-Macaulay, but in Cohen-Macaulay rings, the maximum grade is achieved, which is the height of the ideal. Uh, and and the height of the ideal plus dimension of R mod I is dimension of R. Okay, this property is in dimension theory. You have seen this property for ideals in affine domains. That is integral domains which are finitely generated algebras over a field. This property is true. Height of I plus dimension of R mod I equal to dimension of R. We probably, in integral domains, which are finitely generated over a field. But this property is also shared by Cohen-Macaulay local rings. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Jeba Singh? I can't hear you.
I'm not able to see your presentation.
Presentation.
Your presentation is
The
stopped.
screen sharing is off.
Yeah.
So just a minute. It was on some time ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just turned off right now.
So let me do it again. I have to go to Google Calendar, reconnect. Share screen. Yeah. Can you see?
Yes,
sir.
and now it is visible.
Okay. I think my net connection is not so good today. Okay. All right. So I was talking about Cohen's theorem that you saw. Cohen's theorem, regular local ring is a Cohen-Macaulay domain, and Cohen-Macaulay property is preserved by localization. If I take a prime ideal in the support of a module and M is Cohen-Macaulay module, then MP is also a Cohen-Macaulay RP module. Okay. And grade of an ideal is height of ideal in a Cohen-Macaulay ring. And if you have a local Cohen-Macaulay ring, then height of I plus dimension of R mod I equal to dimension of R. And Cohen-Macaulay property is preserved by taking polynomial ring over R and power series ring over R. So this is the plan for today. So once you see these properties, you see that if you start with a Cohen-Macaulay local ring or Cohen-Macaulay ring, then you can take polynomial ring or power series ring in finitely many variables, and Cohen-Macaulay property is preserved. Then you can localize, then Cohen-Macaulay property is preserved. You can go mod a regular element, Cohen-Macaulay property is preserved. So this gives rise to, and regular local rings are Cohen-Macaulay. So you can literally construct lots of rings which are Cohen-Macaulay. But in the last lecture, I will give examples from rings of invariants, which will give another big class of Cohen-Macaulay rings. Okay. Yeah. So in order to get non-trivial classes of Cohen-Macaulay rings, we have to do these basic properties. So let us establish these things. Any doubts so far? Yeah, so let us first prove that if you go mod a regular element, then Cohen-Macaulay property is preserved. Okay, that is the first property. Okay, so R is Noetherian ring, and M non-zero finite R module, and X equal to X1, Xn, and M regular sequence. And if M is Cohen-Macaulay, then M mod Xm is Cohen-Macaulay. Converse is true if R is local. Okay, I'll give an example to show that converse need not be true. M mod Xm could be Cohen-Macaulay, but M may fail to be Cohen-Macaulay. Okay. Now, Cohen-Macaulay property is defined using localization. So by definition, M is Cohen-Macaulay if and only if M localized at every maximal ideal is a Cohen-Macaulay module over the local ring. And to say finite module is non-zero module is Cohen-Macaulay module over local ring means that the dimension and the depth are equal. Okay, so this is true for all maximal ideals. This is by definition. Okay. Now our assumption is that M is Cohen-Macaulay. Okay, we want to show M mod Xm is Cohen-Macaulay. So M mod Xm is Cohen-Macaulay if I localize at any maximal ideal. That should be Cohen-Macaulay. So this is equal to mm over xm m. Okay, and we need to show that M mod Xm right, that this is Cohen-Macaulay. But this module is over the local ring. Okay, this is over the local ring Rm. Okay, yeah, and what is given is M is Cohen-Macaulay. So MM is Cohen-Macaulay by assumption, and X is M regular implies that when I look at X over 1, so I may assume that N is 1 and do it repeatedly. Yeah, that I have a M regular element and I want to check whether the Cohen-Macaulay property is preserved by going mod M regular, single M regular element. Then it will follow for M regular sequence also. So X is a single element here. MM is Cohen-Macaulay by assumption. X is M regular, so this implies that X over 1 is MM regular, because localization preserves injective maps. Okay, so that means, but then once X over 1 is MM regular, then when I go mod this element the submodule generated by the single element X, this dimension reduces by 1. This I proved last time. Yeah, and the depth also reduces by 1. Because all M regular sequences in the maximal ideal, they have equal length, and you can start with any non-zero element and complete it to a regular sequence. So depth of MM is MM over XMM is equal to depth of MM minus 1. Okay. Now we know that dimension of MM is depth of MM. That is the assumption. and therefore it will imply that these two dimensions are also equal. Dimension of mm and depth of mm over xm, they are also equal. So therefore, m over x mm is Cohen-Macaulay for all maximal ideals, and therefore m mod xm is Cohen-Macaulay r mod xr mod. Yeah. Is this clear? The converse is also true. Converse is true when the ring is local. So when the ring is local, then I have just one maximal ideal in the local ring, and I need using the fact that m mod xm is Cohen-Macaulay, I want to prove that m is Cohen-Macaulay. But if m is the only maximal ideal, then this left-hand sides, they are equal. Dimension of xm equal to depth of m mod xm. But when the ring is local, then these are reduced by 1, and that will say that this dimension of mm is depth of mm. So m is also Cohen-Macaulay. Yeah. So let me show you an example that the converse is not true when the ring is not local. If R is not local, then m mod xm Cohen-Macaulay may not imply that m is Cohen-Macaulay. Yes. So here is the example, the standard way of constructing non-Cohen-Macaulay module. So we want m mod xm to be Cohen-Macaulay, but m not Cohen-Macaulay. Okay. So I must begin with a non-Cohen-Macaulay, and so take two rings, R and S, where R is Cohen-Macaulay, and suppose the dimension of R is D, and S is not Cohen-Macaulay. Okay, and dimension of S is equal to E, and assume that D is less than E. This is my ring. T is not a local ring, and I can take R and S to be local. T is not local. T is not local. Can anyone tell me why T is not local?
Yeah, because in T we have at least two prime ideal, maximal ideals. That is R plus M of S, and another is M R plus S.
Right. So T is not a local ring. And what is the dimension of T? You have done this result in dimension theory, that suppose I have an exact sequence of R modules. Suppose I have the exact sequence of R modules, then dimension of M is equal to max of dimension of N and dimension of P, right? So if you use this formula, we have this exact sequence, R to R direct sum S to R, S. Yeah. So the dimension is, you don't have to appeal to this exact sequence, but take a saturated chain of prime ideals in the ring R. In the ring S. Ring S has dimension bigger. So take those prime ideals and take the obvious prime ideals which give rise to prime ideals in T. Yeah. So that will give me a maximal chain of prime ideals. Prime ideals in T are of this form: P direct sum S or R direct sum Q. where P is a prime ideal in R or Q is a prime ideal of S. Yeah. So so this fact says that dimension of T is equal to E. This is the max of the two dimensions. Yeah. Right. So dimension is E. Okay. Dimension is E. And I want to find a non-zero divisor so that when I go mod, I get a Cohen-Macaulay ring. Yeah. So R mod S, that is our Noetherian ring. And in this Noetherian ring, I want to go mod a non-zero divisor. Okay. Remember, R is Cohen-Macaulay and its dimension is less than E, which is dimension of S. Okay. So since R is Cohen-Macaulay, I am assured of a regular element here. I can assume that D is positive, right? Take D to be positive, a Cohen-Macaulay ring of positive dimension, so it has a non-zero divisor. So suppose Y is a non-zero divisor in its maximal ideal. Okay, right? So then Y comma 1 is a non-zero divisor in R direct sum S. Okay, it's just a ring. Okay, this is not a module over some ring. This is just a ring. Y comma 1 is a non-zero divisor in R direct sum S. And what is R direct sum S over the principal ideal generated by this? Yeah. So first take the projection map to R and then go mod Y. Then this is the kernel and this is a surjective map. So this ring is isomorphic to R mod YR. But R is Cohen-Macaulay local, so this is Cohen-Macaulay local. Okay, so therefore T mod, this non-zero divisor, is Cohen-Macaulay local, and what is its dimension? What is the dimension? This is the dimension of R mod YR. And this is equal to D minus 1. So you see, dimension of T is E, which is bigger than D. Yeah. But when I went mod a non-zero divisor, the dimension reduced by more than 1. Right? So if you go mod a non-zero divisor, dimension doesn't necessarily reduce by exactly 1. It may reduce by more than 1. This doesn't happen when the ring is local ring. Okay. In a local ring, non-zero divisor, when you go mod a principal ideal generated by non-zero divisor, the depth and dimension both go down exactly by 1. That's what goes wrong here. So this ring T is not Cohen-Macaulay, but when I went mod this non-zero divisor, I got R mod YR, and R mod YR is a Cohen-Macaulay ring. Okay, so therefore you can't lift the Cohen-Macaulay property after going mod non-zero divisor if the ring is not local. If the ring is local, then yes, the converse is also true. Is this clear? You have to pay attention to
Sir, please.
Yeah.
Sir, please explain the part after this exact sequence again.
This I was trying to prove that T mod Y comma 1 is isomorphic to R mod YR. Is this fact, is this clear? This one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, R direct sum S to R, I have projection map and then another projection map. So these are two surjective maps, and the kernel is generated by Y comma 1.
Yes.
Right. So T mod this non-zero divisor is equal to is the ring R mod YR. R was taken to be Cohen-Macaulay ring of dimension smaller than the dimension of S, but R mod YR is Cohen-Macaulay ring.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, but T is not a Cohen-Macaulay ring
Mhm.
because its dimension is bigger than its depth.
Yes. Okay.
This T is not Cohen-Macaulay. This is a small exercise for you. The dimension is E, and but the Cohen-Macaulay component has lower dimension. You cannot construct a regular sequence of length bigger than D here.
Okay.
Okay, this needs little proof, but I'm going to put that in the tutorial sheet.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, so it says that after going mod a non-zero divisor, you may get Cohen-Macaulay, but the original ring need not be Cohen-Macaulay. But the other direction is always true, even for non-local rings. But the converse is true when you have a local ring. Okay. Yeah. Any other doubt? All right. So that is this property. So in algebraic geometry, there is a process called hyperplane section. That if you take generic hyperplane section of an algebraic variety, then some property which is true for the algebraic variety, very often it is true by hyperplane section. And this is the local version of that result. Hyperplane means it is a variety defined by a single equation. And here we are going mod a non-zero divisor, which is a principal ideal. Okay. And some properties being preserved by going mod a non-zero divisor, then you can lift it back and forth. But the ring should be a local ring. Okay. Yeah. So be careful in using this property because it is true only for local rings from both the directions. All right. So using this fact now, let me prove this famous theorem of Cohen's theorem. Let Rm be a regular local ring. This will be my abbreviation for regular local ring. Then R is a Cohen-Macaulay integral domain. Everyone knows regular local ring? Yeah? Regular local ring? Is there somebody who doesn't know what is a regular local ring? There's a section in Nathie MacDonald. There's a chapter on Dedekind domains. And also in the chapter on integral extensions, discrete valuation rings are discussed. These are one-dimensional regular local rings. So I'll just recall. Rm, a local ring, local Noetherian ring, is called regular local ring if mu m is equal to dimension of R. This is mu m is dimension of m mod m square, and this is the minimum number of generators of the maximal ideal. Okay, so dimension of R is less equal to height of maximal ideal, and by Krull's theorem, height of the maximal ideal is less equal to the number of generators. And when this is achieved, the upper bound is achieved, then the ring is regular local. Yeah. So when you do a course on algebraic geometry, you will see that these rings are in abundance. At most points of a algebraic variety, when you construct the local ring of a point, then you get a regular local ring. So they occur everywhere. Yeah. And we want to now show that such rings, the regular local rings, are Cohen-Macaulay domains. So the proof is by induction on the dimension. So suppose D is the dimension of R. Apply induction on D. So let D be equal to 0. Okay. If D is 0, then mu m is also 0. This means M is generated by empty set, and so maximal ideal is 0. So if the maximal ideal is 0 of a local ring, what can you say about the local ring? What can you say? Diksha, what can you say about the local ring?
So then R will become field.
R is field, so that's an integral domain. Yeah, and field is trivially a Cohen-Macaulay ring.
Yes.
Its depth is 0, dimension is 0. So this is fine. R is a domain, R is a field in this case. And hence R is Cohen-Macaulay domain, trivially. So now let the dimension be positive. This dimension is positive. Rm is local. Yeah, dimension is positive. That means height of the maximal ideal is at least 1. Yeah, height of the maximal ideal is at least 1. So here is my M. I'm trying to prove that the 0 ideal is a prime ideal. Yeah, first we will prove that it is a integral domain. Okay. Yeah. So suppose it is not an integral domain. Then because of Noetherian property, it has finitely many minimal primes containing the 0 ideal. So suppose these are all the minimal primes over the 0 ideal. They are all contained in M, but none of them are equal to M because height of M is at least 1. Okay. Yeah, my ring is regular local ring. So I'm applying induction on the dimension. I want to pass to a lower dimension ring. Yeah, I want to pass to a lower dimension ring. And one way to do that is to pick an element which avoids all the minimal primes. Then when you go mod that element, I get a ring of exactly 1 dimension less. This is dimension theory. Yeah. So and I can pick up an element in it. And prime avoidance lemma says that all but 2 of those ideals are prime ideals. So I can avoid M square and I can avoid all these minimal primes T and pick this element. Is this clear how I'm picking this element X? I want to pass to a ring of lower dimension, but I'm picking my element X carefully. Okay, so that I can preserve the hypothesis of ring be regular local ring. When I go mod an element, I must ensure that the resulting ring is a regular local ring. I want to apply induction on the dimension. So dimension has to go down, but the regularity hypothesis has to be preserved. And this can be done if I pick an element X, which is part of a minimal basis of the maximal ideal. And to pick up an element which is part of minimal basis of the maximal ideal, I have to avoid M square by Nakayama lemma. And to reduce the dimension exactly by 1, I have to avoid the minimal primes. And that is why I'm selecting this X, which is in M, not in M square, and not in any of the minimal primes. And that says that R mod X, the dimension of R mod X has reduced. And the number of generators has also reduced. Okay, just apply Nakayama lemma, you will see this fact. Right? So dimension of R is mu of M, and by these equations, this says that these two are equal, and so R mod XR is a regular local ring, and dimension is D minus 1. By induction, R mod XR is a Cohen-Macaulay local domain. I am trying to prove R is a domain, right? But induction hypothesis tells me R mod XR is Cohen-Macaulay local domain, right? R mod XR is Cohen-Macaulay local domain. I want to prove R is a domain. This is implying that this principal ideal X is a prime ideal. This is a prime ideal. What is its height? Can somebody tell me height of this ideal? This ideal generated by X?
1.
Yeah, why is it 1? Krull's theorem says it is at most 1.
And it is avoiding all the minimal prime ideals.
Right. I selected X carefully. X was avoiding all the minimal primes. So the minimal primes are gone in R mod XR. So the dimension, and when you go mod a single element, the dimension cannot reduce by more than 1 in a local ring. But in non-local ring, the dimension can, we saw that dimension can reduce by more than 1. But in local, when the ring is local and I go mod a principal ideal, the dimension cannot reduce by more than 1. But if it is a non-zero divisor, then it reduces by exactly 1. Or you avoid the minimal primes, all the minimal primes, then the dimension reduces by 1. Okay. So this principal ideal is a prime ideal of height 1. Okay. This is a prime ideal of height 1. And I want to show that R is an integral domain. Okay. So what we have is, I have a principal ideal of height 1, and it contains these minimal primes. Yeah, X will contain some minimal prime because it is a height 1 prime ideal. It will contain some minimal prime. So suppose, without loss of generality, it contains P1. Okay, it may not contain all the X was not in any minimal prime. But when you take the principal ideal generated by X, it's a height 1 prime ideal. Height 1 prime ideal has to contain at least 1 minimal prime. So without loss of generality, I assume that P1 is contained in this principal prime ideal. Yeah. So pick an element Y in P1, and P1 is contained in X. So Y is equal to X times Z, where Z is some element of R. Okay. Z is some element of R. This X is not in P1. X does not belong to P1, but Y belongs to P1. So X times Z belongs to P1. X is not in P1. So therefore, Z is in P1. Okay. So I took any element of P1 and wrote it as X times some other element of P1. So this means that P1 is equal to X times P1. X times P1 is certainly contained in P1, but I just showed that P1 is contained in X times P1. And this is happening in a local ring. X is in the maximal ideal. I picked up X in the maximal ideal. What does this give?
P1 is 0.
Right. Why is that?
Because of Nakayama lemma.
Right. P1 is a finitely generated module, and X is in the Jacobson radical, and P1 is X times P1. So by Nakayama lemma, P1 is 0. So 0 has become a prime ideal. So all other minimal primes have disappeared. And so R is an integral domain. Yeah. So this is a general argument. It says if you have principal prime ideal of height 1, then the ring is an integral domain. In a local ring, suppose I have one principal prime ideal of height 1, then the ring is a integral domain. Do you agree with that? This last argument proves this. This is often used many times to prove rings are integral domains, that you somehow show that there is a height 1 principal ideal, which is a prime ideal. Then the ring will be forced to be a domain. This is the argument. Okay. So R is an integral domain now. Okay. We have proved that a regular local ring is an integral domain, and R mod XR was Cohen-Macaulay. But because R has become an integral domain, R is domain, and X was in maximal ideal, and R mod XR is Cohen-Macaulay because of induction on the dimension, and so and R is local, so that says that R is Cohen-Macaulay. So you see, by going mod in non-zero divisor, I have this Cohen-Macaulay property. I can then lift it to R, that R is Cohen-Macaulay, and this shows what we wanted to show, that a regular local ring is a Cohen-Macaulay integral domain. Yeah, it's a very important theorem. Regular local ring is a Cohen-Macaulay integral domain. Yeah. So for example, if I take a field and take polynomial ring over a field and localize at this maximal ideal, yeah, then this is of dimension n, and it has a regular sequence x1 over 1, xn over 1. So this is and this is also a regular local ring. Yeah, if R is this, then dimension of R is same as mu of the maximal ideal of R is equal to n. So it's a regular local ring, and it is also Cohen-Macaulay because x1 over 1 and xn over 1 is an R regular sequence. And same argument will apply if I take power series ring over field, then this is a regular local ring and therefore a Cohen-Macaulay local domain. Later on, I'll generalize this, that the field is not necessary. You could start with any Cohen-Macaulay local ring and then take polynomial ring over it. It will be a Cohen-Macaulay ring, or take power series ring over it. It will be again Cohen-Macaulay. But because of regular local ring being Cohen-Macaulay domain, these two rings are regular local rings, and they are also Cohen-Macaulay domains. Yeah, any questions so far? Is everything clear?
So the converse, like you are saying that R mod external is Cohen-Macaulay plus R is Cohen-Macaulay.
I can't hear you clear. Can you speak loudly?
So you are saying that R mod XR is Cohen-Macaulay plus R is Cohen-Macaulay if R is a local ring.
Yeah.
What's the show here?
In this proof?
Yeah, the right hand side top.
R mod XR turned out to be Cohen-Macaulay because R mod XR is a regular local ring, and I am applying induction hypothesis.
The implication that R is also Cohen-Macaulay.
Pardon?
You are saying R is also Cohen-Macaulay.
No. I'm proving R is Cohen-Macaulay. I don't know R is Cohen-Macaulay or not. But by induction hypothesis, because R mod XR is a regular local ring of dimension d minus 1, it is a Cohen-Macaulay integral domain by induction hypothesis. And then I use the previous proposition, which says that if you have a local ring and R mod XR is Cohen-Macaulay, R is Cohen-Macaulay, but for that I need to prove that X is a non-zero divisor. I don't know whether X is a non-zero divisor. So I gave an argument that X is a prime ideal of height 1, and that forced that the ring is an integral domain. And so X is a non-zero divisor and R mod XR is Cohen-Macaulay, and therefore R is Cohen-Macaulay.
Okay.
Is this clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a delicate argument, but produces a big class of local rings, which are Cohen-Macaulay. Yeah. Okay. So let us now prove that Cohen-Macaulay property is actually a local property. Okay. That when you localize at a prime ideal, Cohen-Macaulay property is preserved. Yeah, so R Noetherian, M non-zero finite R module S contained in R a multiplicatively closed subset, then S inverse M is S inverse R Cohen-Macaulay module if M is Cohen-Macaulay R module. Yeah. So localization of a Cohen-Macaulay module at any arbitrary multiplicatively closed subset is Cohen-Macaulay. Okay. So in particular, if P belongs to support of M, then MP is Cohen-Macaulay RP module if M is Cohen-Macaulay R module. So therefore, Cohen-Macaulay property truly localizes. It is defined through localization at maximal ideals. Yeah, we say a module is Cohen-Macaulay if when you localize at all any maximal ideal, it is a Cohen-Macaulay RM module. And Cohen-Macaulay property is first defined over local rings. And then it is carried over to non-local rings by saying that when you localize a module at all maximal ideals, you get Cohen-Macaulay module over a local ring. But this is saying now once you have the localization at maximal ideal being Cohen-Macaulay, then I can localize at any prime ideal and the Cohen-Macaulay property will be preserved. Okay. Yeah. So proof. Okay. S is a arbitrary multiplicative closed subset. So to show that S inverse M is a Cohen-Macaulay S inverse R module, I have to show that when you localize at maximal ideals, then Cohen-Macaulay property is true. Yeah. So we need to show, but any maximal ideal of S inverse R looks like S inverse P, where P is some prime ideal of R and P intersection S is empty. And it is maximal among all prime ideals which are not intersecting with S. Okay. Then this S inverse P is a maximal ideal. Every maximal ideal looks like this. So we need to show that S inverse M localized at S inverse P is Cohen-Macaulay S inverse R localized at S inverse P module. Yeah. But S inverse can do a little exercise in localization and show that S inverse M localized at S inverse P is isomorphic to M localized at P. And S inverse R localized at S inverse P is RP. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now this prime ideal P is contained in some maximal ideal. Let M be a maximal ideal. Then M localized at P is equal to M localized at M and then localized at the extension of P. And similarly, R localized at P is equal to R localized at M and then localized at extension of P. MM is Cohen-Macaulay RM module. Okay, I want to check that MP is a Cohen-Macaulay RP module. So we can assume that the ring is local because of this. Because my hypothesis that M is a Cohen-Macaulay R module is passed on to localization at maximal ideal. by definition. So MM is a finitely generated module over the local ring Rm. And I want to show that when you localize at PRM, it is Cohen-Macaulay RPRP module. So therefore we can assume R is local ring with maximal ideal M, and P is contained in M, and MP is not equal to 0, and M is Cohen-Macaulay R module. Whether this implies MP is Cohen-Macaulay RP module. Yeah. Is this reduction clear to everyone? So many results are, because the Cohen-Macaulay property is defined at localization maximal ideal, that enables us to reduce the results to local case. In local case, we can apply Nakayama lemma, we can do many more things. So try to reduce the problem to a local case first. So I want to show MP is Cohen-Macaulay RP module by assuming that M is a R module and R is local ring now. Okay, and the proofs are usually by induction on some number. Here we can apply induction on depth of MP. Okay, depth of MP. Yeah. So suppose that the depth of MP is equal to T and T equal to 0. Okay, so induct on T. So suppose T is 0. If T is 0, depth of MP is 0. If depth of MP is 0, then what can you say about P? And this is over R localized at P. So what does it say about P? What does it say about P? Chitra Venugopal?
Grade of PM is 0.
You have jumped 2 steps. This
It's
says that
associated to MP.
PRP is an associated prime of M localized at P. Right? PRP has no non-zero divisor. So PRP is an associated prime of MP. And that says that
Yes,
P is an
yes.
associated prime. Right? P is an associated prime of M. So if P is an associated prime of M, what can you say about grade of PM? What can you say about grade of PM? P consists of only 0 divisors on M.
0.
So grade of PM is 0. So grade of PM is equal to depth of MP. Okay, this is another fact I want to prove in this, that depth of MP is grade of PM. Okay, I'm trying to show that M localized at P is Cohen-Macaulay RP module, but also I'll prove that depth of MP is grade of PM. And in the base case of induction on the depth of MP, I have proved that these two numbers are equal. Okay, I have to now show that MP is Cohen-Macaulay. Yeah, depth of MP is 0. To show that MP is Cohen-Macaulay, what do I need to prove now? What do I need to prove that MP is Cohen-Macaulay after proving depth of MP is 0?
Dimension of MP is 0.
Right. So we need to prove dimension of MP is 0. But dimension of MP is by definition dimension of R mod annihilator of M localized at P. Yeah, this P was contained in associative prime. Okay, so P associative primes are contained in the support, and support of M is variety of the annihilator. So P contains the annihilator. Yeah, this P contains the annihilator. So R mod annihilator of M localized at P is not a zero ring because P contains the annihilator, and I need to show that this dimension is zero. Is this dimension zero? Yeah. This dimension is zero if what should happen for this dimension to be zero?
If this should become field. If this becomes
Artinian
field,
ring, right? It should become Artinian ring. But this will become Artinian ring if provided annihilator of M localized at P is PRP primary. So this dimension is zero if and only if annihilator of M localized at P is PRP primary. Do you see that P is minimal prime containing annihilator of M? Who can tell me whether P is a minimal prime of annihilator of M? Kanoy Das? Kanoy Das, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Do you see why P is a minimal prime of the annihilator of M?
So, yeah, so P is an associated prime of M.
Right.
So, in that case,
Associated prime
And-
of module need not, they could be embedded, no?
yes. So, but we have M to the Cohen-Macaulay.
Yeah,
Cohen-Macaulay
right.
is a-
Exactly.
So-
M is a Cohen-Macaulay module. If M is a Cohen-Macaulay module, we prove that the dimension of M is equal to dimension of R mod P for every associated prime.
Yes.
So therefore all associated primes are minimal and they have equal dimension. This is the defining property of Cohen-Macaulay module. So PRP, because P is minimal over the annihilator, PRP is minimal prime over the localization of the annihilator module. So this ring R mod annihilator of M localized at P is Artinian ring, and therefore it is dimension 0. So dimension of MP has become 0, depth of MP has become 0, and therefore MP is Cohen-Macaulay. Is this clear? Any doubt on this? This is the base case of induction. We are applying induction on depth of MP. Yeah, assuming depth of MP is 0, I showed that dimension of MP is also 0. And that used the fact that MP is a Cohen-Macaulay R module. Okay, so now we assume that depth of MP is positive. So now let depth of MP is positive. Once the depth of MP is positive, then PRP, it cannot be an associated prime, right? PRP is not an associated prime. Once it is not an associated prime, it says that P is not an associated prime. Once P is not an associated prime, then can you pick a non-zero divisor? P must contain an M regular element. Suppose everything in P was a zero divisor on M, then P will be contained in an associated prime, right? But associated primes of M are all minimal primes. So P will itself become an associated prime. but P is not an associative prime of M. So P contains a non-zero divisor. Okay. So there is a non-zero divisor, and we are applying induction on depth of MP. Induction is on depth of MP, and I have found a element in P which is M regular, and therefore X over 1 is in PRP, and this is MP regular. And therefore, once I go mod 1 non-zero divisor, the depth reduces by 1. Yeah. So by induction, this MP over XMP, this is Cohen-Macaulay. Why? Because M mod XM is Cohen-Macaulay. I have reduced the result to local case. The ring is local. If the ring is local, then and M mod XM is Cohen-Macaulay and X is a non-zero divisor. X is a non-zero divisor here. I picked up this X in P, which is P was not an associative prime. X was a non-zero divisor in P, and M mod XM is Cohen-Macaulay. Because we are in local case, it implies that M is Cohen-Macaulay, right? MP over X, MP is Cohen-Macaulay by induction hypothesis. And but I want to check that MP is Cohen-Macaulay. But now you can reverse. You can go to MP and say that MP is Cohen-Macaulay because we are over a local ring. Yeah. So therefore MP is Cohen-Macaulay RP. And the other formula, that the grade of PM is equal to depth of MP, is also true because you can lift it from MP over XMP, where the grade of P mod X and M mod X has reduced by exactly 1 by going mod non-zero divisor, and depth of MP also reduces, and therefore these two numbers are also equal. Okay, so we have proved that Cohen-Macaulay property localizes at arbitrary multiplicative sets. Okay, it amounted to proving that MP is Cohen-Macaulay RP module by various reductions. Any doubt? So you see this proof, which proved that the localization of a Cohen-Macaulay module is Cohen-Macaulay module, use this fact about lifting the Cohen-Macaulay property after you go mod a non-zero divisor. We use that fact here. Okay. Yeah. So now let us see that Cohen-Macaulay property gives many other useful facts. Yeah. So one of them is if I take an ideal I would like height of I plus dimension of R mod I to be equal to dimension of R. This is not always true. Okay. This is true in affine domains over a field. Okay, but let us show that this is true in Cohen-Macaulay rings, not necessarily local. Any Cohen-Macaulay ring and any proper ideal I will satisfy this property. Okay, so first I prove it for prime ideals. So take local ring, R is local. Local Noetherian, M non-zero finite R module, M is a non-zero finite R module, and P is in the support of M. which means MP is not equal to 0. Okay, then finite R module and Cohen-Macaulay. Sorry, the module is Cohen-Macaulay. Then dimension of the module is equal to dimension of M localized at P plus dimension of M mod P. So in particular, it says, in particular, if R is Cohen-Macaulay local ring, yeah, and P is a prime ideal, then dimension of R is equal to height P, because this is dimension of R localized at P, that is height P, plus dimension of R mod P. Okay, many calculations, they require this formula all the time, that dimension of R is height P plus dimension of R mod P. But they say that arbitrary Cohen-Macaulay local ring, you take any prime ideal, this is true, but more generally it is true for Cohen-Macaulay modules. The dimension of M is dimension of M localized at P plus dimension of M mod P. So let us prove this. Yeah. So in the last lecture, I proved this fact about the calculation of grade, that the grade can be computed from dimensions. If the module is Cohen-Macaulay, if M is Cohen-Macaulay, then the grade of IM is equal to dimension of M minus dimension of M mod IM. Just by computing dimension of these two modules, I can find out the length of maximal M regular sequence in a ideal if the module is Cohen-Macaulay. This for any proper ideal of I. Okay. Yeah. So so because of this, this is true for prime ideals. Yeah. So this will say this is also true for this prime ideal. Dimension of M minus dimension of M mod PM. Okay. Now M is Cohen-Macaulay. So I just proved that if I have a Cohen-Macaulay module, then grade PM is depth of MP. But depth of MP, because localization of Cohen-Macaulay module is Cohen-Macaulay, this is equal to dimension of MP. Okay. Yeah. So we have this equation for grade PM, and I have this equation for grade PM, that it is dimension of MP. So substitute. So dimension of MP plus dimension of M mod PM is dimension of M. And so therefore, this implies if I have M equal to R to be Cohen-Macaulay local ring, then height P plus dimension of R mod P is dimension of R. Okay, let us generalize this, that this is actually true even if the ring is not Cohen-Macaulay. I mean, even if the ring is not local. So take any Cohen-Macaulay ring. Let R be any Cohen-Macaulay ring. I any proper ideal. Then height of I plus dimension of R mod I is equal to dimension of R. Yeah. So calculate the, we know that R is Cohen-Macaulay ring, and in a Cohen-Macaulay ring, and in arbitrary ring, I proved in first lecture that grade of IR is equal to infimum of depth. Okay. This was proved for modules. So let me recall it for modules. Grade of IM is infimum of depth of MP, where does P lie?
P belongs to V of I.
P
Intersection.
belongs to
V of I.
V of I. Right. P belongs to V of I. Take all prime ideals which contain I, calculate the infimum of depth of MP, that is the grade of IM. Okay, this formula we know, no assumptions, just a Noetherian ring. This is true. And the height, formula for height, the formula for height is infimum of dimension of RP, where P is in VI, right? And grade of I is infimum of depth of RP, where P is in VI. But R is Cohen-Macaulay, implies RP is Cohen-Macaulay for all prime ideals. And therefore, depth of RP is dimension of RP. So this number is equal to this number for every prime ideal. And therefore, their infimums are equal. And therefore, grade of I is height of I. In any Cohen-Macaulay ring, the length of maximal R regular sequence inside an ideal is height of I. In an arbitrary Noetherian ring, it is bounded above by height of I. Yeah, but in Cohen-Macaulay ring, that upper bound is achieved, that the grade is maximum possible of an arbitrary ideal. Okay. Yeah. So, but we want to show that height of I plus dimension of R mod I is dimension of R, but you just apply it on grade, this formula, grade of IR, okay, grade of IR, that is equal to height of I, but grade of IR, when the module is Cohen-Macaulay, grade of IM is dimension of M minus dimension of M mod IA. So grade of IR is dimension of R minus dimension of R mod I. Here I use the Cohen-Macaulay property. In the earlier, the grade of I equal to height of I, also I used Cohen-Macaulay property. So therefore, height of I is dimension of R minus dimension of R mod I, and that implies that dimension of R is height of I plus the co-height or the dimension of I. So dimension of R mod I is also written as dimension of I. Okay, but there can be confusion with module definition. So we write dimension of R mod I. So in a Cohen-Macaulay ring, arbitrary Cohen-Macaulay ring, not necessarily local, for every proper ideal, height of I and dimension of R mod I, they will add up to dimension of R. This need not be true in non-Cohen-Macaulay. You can, in fact, you have seen examples where this is not true in the tutorial sheet. Any doubts so far? Any questions? Okay, so I proved a theorem due to Cohen. Cohen is I.S. Cohen. He was a student of Zariski, and we saw that we saw the theorem of I.S. Cohen that R, if R is a regular local ring, it implies R is Cohen-Macaulay. Okay, but in Cohen-Macaulay there are two names, right? Cohen and Macaulay. So what is what did Macaulay do? So he was working in 1920s, and Cohen's thesis came out in 1946. Okay, so why these rings are named after these mathematicians? Yeah, so I want to now prove two theorems of Macaulay, which will tell you why they are named after both Cohen and Macaulay. So they proved what is called an unmixed theorem, unmixedness theorem, both of them. Unmixedness theorem. So this requires what is called an ideal of principal class. So by Krull's theorem, suppose I have an ideal generated by n elements, then height of this ideal is less equal to n. This is Krull's altitude theorem. Okay, height of an n generated ideal is at most n, and when this upper bound is achieved, okay, if upper bound is achieved, for example, this is achieved by the maximal ideal in a regular local ring, right? If you have d-dimensional regular local ring, then the maximal ideal is generated by d elements. So whenever this happens for an ideal that its height is maximum possible, then I is called an ideal of principal class. This is an ordinal terminology, but nowadays these are called parameter ideals. Okay, so take an ideal of principal class. Then if I take minimal primes, any minimal prime which contains this ideal by Krull's theorem, its height p is less equal to n. Yeah, but if it is an ideal of principal class, then no minimal prime can have height less than n, because height of x1 up to xn is equal to n, and height is minimum of the heights of minimal primes which contain r. Okay, so all minimal primes will have height n. Yeah, but there are rings in which such ideals have no other associated primes. The only associated primes are minimal. They have no embedded associated primes. Okay, so this ideal I of principal class, is called unmixed if I has no embedded associated prime. Yeah, should try to construct ideals of principal class which have embedded associated primes. It's a good exercise. I'll include this in tutorial sheet. But ideals of principal class which have no embedded primes are called unmixed. Okay? They are called unmixed ideals. Okay. Yeah. So here is a theorem of Macaulay. A Noetherian ring R. So this is not necessarily local. This is a Noetherian ring R. Yeah, is Cohen-Macaulay if and only if every ideal of principal class is unmixed. Every ideal of principal class is unmixed. Okay, and Cohen proved that regular local rings are Cohen-Macaulay by proving that every ideal of principal class is unmixed in a regular local ring. So by Macaulay's theorem, it says that the ring is, the proof that I gave is different from the proof that Cohen gave. So Cohen proved unmixedness property of ideals of principal class in regular local rings. Okay, and thereby he proved that these are Cohen-Macaulay. Macaulay's theorem is a characterization of Cohen-Macaulay rings. That if you have a Cohen-Macaulay ring, then every ideal of principal class is unmixed, and this property actually characterizes Cohen-Macaulay rings. Okay. Yeah. So proof is very simple. So suppose that all ideals of principal class are unmixed. Yeah, somebody has a doubt?
Hello,
Yeah, Shrikant.
sir. I did not understand the definition of this principal class. Are you choosing these x1, x2, xn in any specific way,
No. X1 up to xn are given.
or is this a minimal generating set? Yeah,
No, nothing. Yeah, an n generated ideal is called an ideal of principal class if its height is n.
Okay, because I can add one more element from the ideal, na?
Yeah,
Then it will be n plus one elements then.
yeah. Then it height, the number of generators will be n plus 1 and height will be n.
Yes, then it will not be the ideal of principal class, because if I add one more element from the ideal, then it will be generated by n plus one elements, but height will not be changed. Height will again be n.
But you see, in a non-local ring, this is a definition in any ring, okay, any Noetherian ring. In a non-local ring, there is no concept of minimal number of generators of an ideal.
Yeah,
Minimum
that I
number of generators makes sense in a local ring by Nakayama lemma. Take the ring of integers, right? The unit ideal is generated by 1. It is also generated by 2 and 3.
Yes, sir.
So if an n generated ideal, given an n generated ideal, is called ideal of principal class if its height is n. That's it.
But then the definition will depend on the
It will not depend. If you artificially change it, it is still generated by n elements, and therefore and its height is n, so it is an ideal of principal class.
because if I am choosing the different generators, then the numbers of generators may be different, but height will not be changed.
Yeah, but if somebody wants to prove that it is an ideal of principal class, he has to produce n generators, right?
Okay.
Until you
Okay.
produce n generators,
Then we cannot say.
height and ideal, you cannot say it is an ideal of principal class.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So this is talking about primary decomposition of ideals of principal class. That by Krull's theorem, all minimal primes have height at most n. Yeah. So if there was an embedded associated prime, its height will be bigger than n. Okay. So there is no embedded associated prime of any ideal of principal class. Then and only then the ring is Cohen-Macaulay. This is Macaulay's theorem. Okay. So let me go the simple direction first. Suppose all ideals of principal class are unmixed. That means they have no embedded associated prime. Okay. Now the zero ideal. Is the zero ideal an ideal of principal class? Shrikant? Zero ideal?
Yes, sir.
That's an ideal of principal class, right? Its height is 0 and it's generated by empty set.
Yes, sir.
So zero ideal is of principal class. This is an ideal of principal class. So zero ideal has no embedded associated prime. There are only associated primes of the zero ideal are minimal primes. Okay. So if dimension of R was 0, yeah, then R is zero dimensional ring. Can you say zero dimensional ring is
Yeah, The zero ring.
Yeah, zero-dimensional ring is Cohen-Macaulay. Yeah, zero-dimensional Noetherian ring is Artinian ring. It has finitely many maximal ideals. When you localize at maximal ideals, I get Artinian local rings of dimension 0 and depth 0. So zero-dimensional rings are Artinian rings are trivially Cohen-Macaulay. So if the dimension was 0, there is nothing to prove, right? There is nothing to prove. All these PIs will be actually the maximal ideal of R if dimension is 0 and the ring is Cohen-Macaulay. So suppose the dimension is positive. If dimension is positive, okay, then I want to prove that R localized at maximal ideal is Cohen-Macaulay, right? To prove that the ring is Cohen-Macaulay, I must prove that when you localize at every maximal ideal, it is Cohen-Macaulay. So I localize at M, and suppose these are the minimal primes which are contained in M, and these are containing 0. Okay, and dimension is positive. So this dimension is positive. So M is not equal to any of these primes, because otherwise M will become embedded associated prime of 0 ideal. Okay, so I can pick an element X in M, not in P1 union PR by prime avoidance lemma. What can you say about this element X? Is this a non-zero divisor? You see, these are all the associated primes of 0. And I have this element X, which is in M, not in union of PIs. Therefore, X is a non-zero divisor. Right? So if the dimension was 1, then we are done. Because depth is also 1. Depth of Rm is also 1. If dimension of Rm is 1, I have a non-zero divisor in Rm in the maximal ideal of Rm. And so this is Cohen-Macaulay. If dimension is bigger than equal to 2, if dimension is bigger than equal to 2, then I go mod this X. Okay, so I have this principal ideal which is of height 1, because 0 ideal has no embedded associated primes. Okay, and this principal ideal X, this X is a non-zero divisor in Rm. Okay, so when I go mod this X, this dimension has reduced. Is less than, it is 1 less than the dimension of Rm. Okay, but this is an ideal of principal class, because it's generated by one element and its height is 1. This is an ideal of principal class. Okay, and dimension of R is strictly bigger than 1. So here maximal ideal properly contains this principal ideal. And this principal ideal has no embedded associated primes. Yeah. So if dimension was, say, 2, yeah, if the dimension was 2, all associated primes of this principal ideal will be height 1. They will not be equal to maximal ideal. And then I can pick an element Y in M, not in any of the minimal associated primes of X. Take all the associated primes of X. They are all height 1. And maximal ideal is not contained in them. I can pick a Y which is here. And so, so when I go mod X, yeah, then this Y will remain a non-zero divisor in R mod XRM, because Y is not in any of the associated primes of XRM. So XY will be a regular sequence. So if the dimension was 2, we are done. So now you look at the ideal of principal class generated by X and Y. If dimension is more than 3, bigger than or equal to 3, then maximal ideal is not associated with this ideal of principal class generated by X and Y. And I can pick an element in M which is not in any of the minimal primes of the ideal X, Y, and then produce a regular sequence of length 3. And so I can go keep doing this exercise. And at every step, I am using the fact that ideals of principal class are unmixed. Okay. So we have proved one direction, that if ideals of principal class are all unmixed, then the ring is Cohen-Macaulay, because I localized at maximal ideal and showed how to construct a regular sequence of dual length. Okay, our time is over, so I will prove the other direction next time. That if the ring is Cohen-Macaulay, then every ideal of principal class is an unmixed ideal. Okay, so we'll stop here.